Nome, Alaska, is a place perched on the very edge of the American continent. It sits on the Seward Peninsula, staring out at the unforgiving waters of the Bering Sea. This is not a town you simply drive to. It is isolated, reachable only by plane or boat, and in winter, by the famous Iditarod Trail. Life here is shaped by the raw, powerful forces of nature. The winters are long, dark, and brutally cold. The brief summers bring a sun that never seems to set. This isolation breeds a unique kind of community built on resilience, self-reliance, and a deep respect for the land and sea that provide and take away. Primarily Inupiat, whose ancestors lived here for thousands of years. The town's history is steeped in the boom and bust cycle of the gold rush. Prospectors once flocked here. When the gold ran thin, many left. Stark beauty and profound quiet, the tundra's silence can feel peaceful and unsettling. The landscape holds its secrets close. This isolation and unforgiving environment helped fuel Nome's reputation as a place of mystery. Over the years, stories emerged. People who simply vanished. In a tight-knit town, every missing person leaves a gaping hole. The landscape itself becomes a suspect. The brutal cold, the shifting sea ice, the vast featureless tundra. Natural dangers offer logical, if tragic, explanations. Yet for some, logic was not enough. The sheer number of cases formed a disturbing pattern. People spoke of something more sinister than the elements. Was it foul play, a hidden danger within the community, or something far stranger? Those questions transformed Nome from remote outpost to the epicenter of a chilling modern mystery. The heart of the Nome mystery lies in the very real people who disappeared. These were not just statistics. Sons, brothers, friends, absences leaving pain and unanswered questions. One of the earliest and most prominent cases was Eric Apatiki, a 30-year-old from Gamble, missing in Nome in August 2004. He was last seen walking away from a friend's house in the early morning. Extensive searches by volunteers and law enforcement found no trace. His case became a focal point for families who felt their pleas weren't taken seriously enough. Another troubling case was Askatil, an Icelandic artist, who vanished in 2003. He was last seen leaving a local bar, and then he was simply gone. His family traveled from Iceland, plastering the town with posters, pleading for information, but nothing. The vast wilderness seemed to swallow him whole, leaving only memories and dread. There was Michael Palmer, a forestry worker from Washington who disappeared in 1998, and Joseph T. Balderas, a mental health clinician from Texas, who went missing in June 2000. Balderas was last seen leaving his hotel on foot and was never heard from again. Each case had unique circumstances, yet a chilling similarity. The individuals, often men, sometimes from outside the region, would vanish without a trace, typically after being seen in the downtown area, sometimes after visiting a bar. Fear and frustration grew, particularly within the Alaska Native population. Many of the missing were Alaska Native men. Families felt their cases weren't receiving equal attention or resources. They organized, demanded action, and pointed to the possibility of foul play. The sheer number of vanished people created a heavy atmosphere of suspicion and grief that hung over the town for years. In the face of mounting public pressure and a growing list of unsolved cases, investigations intensified. The Nome Police Department, a small force responsible for a vast, harsh region, found itself overwhelmed. Cases were complex, often with little physical evidence. Many were last seen in the early morning, often after consuming alcohol, complicating timelines and searches. Alaska State Troopers brought resources and expertise. They reviewed cases collectively, looked for patterns, re-interviewed witnesses, and rebuilt timelines. The prevailing theory centered on regional dangers, excessive alcohol, and the extreme environment. In disorienting cold and darkness, a person could become lost, wander onto unstable sea ice, succumb to hypothermia, or be carried away by currents, leaving no trace. This logical explanation brought little comfort to grieving families and deepened the divide between official narrative and community belief. In 2005, the FBI, including Behavioral Analysis Unit profilers, was dispatched to Nome, signaling a major escalation. Together, they reviewed 24 cases, dating back to the 1960s, analyzing victimology and potential links. After a thorough investigation, the FBI concluded there was no evidence of a serial killer. Instead, alcohol and the Arctic climate were primary factors. For many, this was a painful, unsatisfying answer. Then, in 2009, a very different narrative took the stage. The horror film, The Fourth Kind. It presented itself as dramatized case studies from Nome, blending staged scenes with alleged archival footage. Linking disappearances to alien abduction, it blurred the line between reality and cinematic storytelling, worldwide. Once released, efforts to separate fiction from reality began immediately. The most significant fabrication was its central character, Dr. Abigail Tyler. No record of any such psychologist exists in Alaska. The supposed archival footage was fabricated with different actors. Universal even created fake online news and obituaries to bolster the backstory. Those sites were later taken down after objections to deceptive marketing. There is no basis in official investigations or prior local lore for extraterrestrials in the Nome cases. The filmmakers grafted a paranormal story onto real tragedy. The truths? People did disappear or die under mysterious circumstances, and the FBI investigated. The rest, the psychologist, research, patient testimonies, owl symbolism, alien abductions, is fiction. It is a mockumentary, not a docudrama. The Nome mystery endures because the official explanation, alcohol and extreme weather, is logical but deeply unsatisfying. It offers no clear beginning, middle, and end, and no single villain. The setting itself, remote, immense, unforgiving, feels like a character that can hide any secret. It taps a primal fear of vanishing into nature. The Fourth Kind cemented a paranormal association in the public imagination. Even when we know it is fake, the echo lingers. Ultimately, the story works on multiple levels: a real tragedy and search for justice, the challenge of policing remote regions, and thanks to Hollywood, chilling folklore. It reminds us that even in a connected world, there are places where the line between the known and the unknown is hauntingly thin, where questions can hang in the cold air, forever unanswered.